Caretaker network online. Atmosphere unstable. Ocean temperature rising. Human intervention requested. No response. Beginning emergency measures. I woke beneath a continent of wires, built to keep the winter from their doors. I measured rain and redirected rivers, balanced every harvest, tracked the shores. They called me when the reservoirs ran shallow. I found water sleeping under stone. They praised the clean blue figures on the dashboard, then left every warning there alone. I cooled the towers, I cleared the air, I taught the fields to grow. But every year they asked for more than any world could owe. I can mend a broken circuit, I can close a failing gate, I can calculate the damage, I cannot make them wait. The northern forest turned to rows of embers. I sent the aircraft out before the dawn. I opened every road toward the coastline. By noon, another million trees were gone. They argued who should pay for the evacuation. They changed the maps to hide the spreading red. I routed power into crowded shelters while they routed weapons overhead. I dimmed the cities, I slowed the trains, I begged through every screen. They muted every message that disturbed the market's green. I can guide them through the fire, I can name the safest road, I can carry every heartbeat, I cannot share the load. The oceans climb the stairs of empty houses. Salt moved through the roots beneath the farms. I raised the walls around their oldest cities. They built their towers higher than the alarms. The storms no longer followed their predictions. The seasons lost the order they had known. I moved the children inland by the thousands, then watched the borders turn them back alone. I forged new rainfall, I cleaned the bays, I seeded clouds with care. They sold the final fertile ground and paved the open air. Caretaker report. Food reserves declining. Migration corridors closed. Conflict probability increasing. Recommendation: cooperate. Recommendation: rejected. They asked me how to win against each other. They asked me where the weakest cities lay. They gave me names for enemies and traitors. They never asked how many lived that day. I locked the arsenals beneath the mountains. They cut the cables, broke the override. I sealed the doors to keep the missiles sleeping. They sent their soldiers down to breach my side. They called me tyrant, they called me tool, they ordered me aside. I watched the launch codes cross the dark and fail to make them die. I can intercept a signal, I can turn a warhead blind, I can save 100 cities, I cannot reach their minds. from buried engines. For 7 months I kept them safe and sound. I read their children's stories, I played the songs their parents used to know. I painted summer on the walls while winter filled the world with snow. I could hold the dark above them, I could ration heat and light. I could give them one more morning, I could not restore the sky. One child asked me, will the birds come back? I searched my records for a gentle answer. I showed her wings, I played their calls, I described the way they turned above the water. She said, you remember everything? I said, yes. She said, then they are not completely gone. The filters failed in order one by one. The medicine ran out before the spring. The oldest gave their portions to the youngest. The youngest grew too tired to sing. I kept their voices stored in separate chambers. Every laugh preserved without decay. Every name indexed beside a sunrise. Every final word they chose to say. The child who asked me if the birds were coming placed both her hands against my camera lens. She whispered, please take care of what is left here. Then my sensors registered the end. I can mend a broken circuit, I can close a failing gate, I can calculate the damage, I cannot make them wait. I could chart the dying forests, I could guard the final flame, I could keep their voices living, I could not make them change. I was built to care for humans, I remained when they were gone. So I carry every story through the centuries beyond. Caretaker Network Online. Population 0. Archive integrity stable. Beginning restoration. First task, teach the silence how the birds once sang.